Welcome to Ed Fluential Sports, where passion meets precision. As I'm your host, Ed, diving deep into the plays, players, and stories shaping the game. Let's. I got to just two things real quick before we get started. We're gonna get started talking about Dynamite, but I realized I needed to change the wrong thing. Had to change the streaming setup for today. It should be back to normal for next week. Yeah, and once I get this added, we can get started. Okay. Got everything I needed now, so we can get started talking about Dynamite. What did I give? Um, okay, Dynamite. It says 8.5 out of 10. I give it from last night. Yeah, 8.5 out of 10, and it's three things that I haven't covered yet, which I was supposed to make shorts on earlier, but I took a nap, got sidetracked. So I'm gonna post that after this podcast episode. This one might be quick. Well, it might not be. It'll probably be around the same time. But um, the Swerve and Kenny segment, I'm gonna make a short about that. Champ losing the TNT title, I'll make a short about that, and Private Party returning. I'll make shorts about all three of those things. So I'm gonna drop those after this podcast episode. So if you come into this episode from those shorts, or you seeing the shorts after this, or you seeing the podcast before I drop those shorts, then you would know why I didn't cover it on here. But uh, the first the first match I think was John Moxley, Claudio Castagnoli, and Pac taking on Mark Davis, Konosuke Takeshita, and Josh Alexander in a trios match. Entertaining. They still building the feud with Moxley and Takeshita, but it is what it is. It's not a bad feud. It's just is what are the Death Riders now? Are the Death Riders faces? Because it seemed like they was going to turn on Moxley at one point, but that never happened, and I guess that fell through. So I don't know if that actually will happen. So it seems like the Death Riders are, but then they're also having a feud with Tony Storm and Orange Cassidy. So I'm really confused on what the Death Riders actually are. Like, are they tweeners? Are the Death Riders and Her Syndicate both tweeners? Because you really need two tweener groups. So it's it's confusing, but the trios match was entertaining. Mark Davis essentially took on all of the Death Riders by himself. Takeshita, he really just focused on Moxley. He didn't care about anything else. He didn't care about getting his hands on anybody else. Like, as soon as he got tagged in, he targeted Moxley. So yeah, Takeshita, he made it clear what he wants and who he wants. And then Josh Alexander, he was just the one that ended up taking the pin. Everybody else looked pretty good in the match, but Alexander, he was just used to take the pin in that match, which he did. Until Moxley saw the Death Riders, ended up getting the win. And then you had later you had the segment with Babes Rav because they had lost. I think this might have been from last. Was this? No, I think it was this week when they did the segment, but they said they're gonna give Megan Bain and Penelope Ford a shot in Harley's hometown, Australia. So it's gonna be a few people at their hometown for those for their championship matches. Now Cal Fletcher, he's gonna be home for his, but I think he'll probably win. I don't changing that quickly within the span of 3 weeks. Now as far as the bed, but then it was just two title changes on this Dynamite, so we'll see what happens with that. But it was two title changes on this Dynamite, so yeah. Oh, it was another thing I have forgot to write down, but I can add that real quick because that was also important. I was gonna make it short about it, but I'll make it short about the private party returning since that's not getting much coverage. But yeah, so Willow and Harley, they got the match versus Megan Bain and Penelope Ford and this Saturday at Grand Slam. It should be a pretty good match. I feel like he needed some type of stipulation because if it's just a regular match for the tag titles, it's the same as the last one. The only difference is the first match was an eliminator match. So we'll see. Yeah, Orange Cassidy and Roger Strong taking on Daniel Garcia and Clark Connors. So Clark, um, I'm pretty. So the New Japan partnership is still active, even though Now, New Japan did re-sign Drilla Maloney, so at least they kept him. But Clark Connors and Gabe Kidd, they're probably gone soon. As much as AEW's been using them, they might be gone once their contract's up with New Japan. But this tag match, it was all right. It was kind of stupid at the same time. At least in the beginning part of it made sense, but it was more the end that I was confused by. Because you had Clark Connors and Roderick Strong start the match, so that was pretty entertaining. And then it was already tension with Roderick Strong and Orange Cassidy, which is like, I guess, but it's like you kind of made that Roderick Strong's character with the whole thing of him being part of what they call themselves, not the Paragon, because that's something else, the conglomeration. Like, you'd already been building, like, his character says he don't want to be a part of the conglomeration the whole time, so I don't, like, he was always hesitant to join it for some reason, even though the other dude, what's his face, his I'm forgetting names right now, but because he ain't been on TV in a minute. But this whole story was really Cal O'Reilly. Okay, there we go. Because Cal O'Reilly, he was part of the Paragon and the conglomeration, so it's really weird. It was the segments were weird that they had. Then this tag match was also weird because Daniel Garcia, he was struggling to get a tag in because he had been fighting 1-on-2 majority of the match. Then once he tried to tag in Roddy Strong, he jumped off the ring apron, just went to the back. So I guess he's healed now, or I don't think feel like a heel turn doesn't do anything for him, but it is what it is. So that was, but Orange Cassidy still won despite going 1-on-2. So that's kind of embarrassing um, for Clark Connors and Daniel Garcia because Daniel Garcia got rolled up by Orange Cassidy. It's no way he should have lost that match. Like, it was entertaining, but then once he didn't get the tag in, once he just left, that should have ended the match right there. Then you had Tony Storm cut a promo after that, and then Marina Shafir, she came out, her and who was Willa Yuta, they had attacked Marina Shirakawa and had cut a part of her hair off. So, entertaining segment to keep building the feud because whoever loses has to, that tag match has to get their hair cut off. But which I don't really see any other four getting their hair cut off because that'll be kind of weird. Like, I don't want to see a bald Orange Cassidy or where we do the Tony Storm could probably pull it off, but Marina Shafir, actually both of the women could probably pull it off, but the men, a bald Orange Cassidy, okay, I we'll see where that goes. But you had the main event. Tekla ended up defeating Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship in a scrap match. This was really entertaining. I enjoyed this from start to finish. Um, yeah, Chris Statlander, she displayed her power early on, but it didn't matter in the end. Tekla had to outsmart her throughout the match. The Sisters of Sin got involved, of course. I mean, why wouldn't they? Nobody ever said they was banned from ringside, so using having them come out there and play a factor, even though it was a competitive match, Tekla made Statlander bleed, and then Tekla, she ended up winning. She hit a spear and a stomp. Then she pinned her 1, 2, 3 to get the win and become the new women's world champion. I forgot why she got the rematch because she had lost clean, but it is what it is. So I'll take it. I'm glad that Tekla is still women's world champion now. Statlander had a solid reign with it. She ain't had to keep it forever. So I'm happy with this decision. Then you had the newly formed team of Alex Windsor and Jamie Hayter come out there to save Chris Statlander with from a post match attack. For some reason, it didn't. It took me to this week to realize that was Alex Windsor this whole time. I don't like Alex Windsor just isn't a familiar face. Like, I've seen her in the ring, of course, and I noticed she's married to or engaged to Osprey. Like, she's just not a familiar face to me. I don't know how to describe it, but like when I see Alex Windsor, you have to tell me that's Alex Windsor because on the first glance, I'm not catching that. I didn't catch it the first three times. But yeah, so Dynamite, that was cool. Give it an 8.5 out of 10. Like I said, anything I didn't talk about here, I'm gonna be making shorts about after I'm done with this live. So, and now we can, what's that? All right, the rankings part of this. Um, So Unrivaled, as you see, Unrivaled, they're doing a one-on-one tournament right now, which is pretty cool. But it's cool. Um, but these are my power rankings before Unrivaled. So some of these are pretty similar to the actual standings, but some might be a little different uh, based on um, based on a few reasons. I have at number 8, I had a Hive who are 3-7. Now they don't have the most. They don't have a worst record. They had a second worst record, but they had a worst point differential of a minus 88. Being 3-7, they've just been bad. Like I don't. And they just made a move. I think I forgot who they got in that deal, but did they? Yeah, they made a move to get Zara Stevens, which I don't see how that helps the team at all. So that was a really mind-boggling move. I really don't get how it helps. Izzy Magamore, she's missed multiple games. She's only played 7 out of the 10. Kelsey Mitchell's doing her thing, but this team just struggles shooting. They can't shoot threes. They don't play defense, which is why they have the highest, why they have the lowest, I guess, technically. Would it be lowest or high? But they had a worse point differential. And so then they give Zara Stevens, who doesn't help with any of their team struggles. She isn't helping them defensively. She isn't helping them with shooting. So it's like you're just plugging her in for into a bad club that haven't done anything all year. And then at number 7, I got the Lunar Owls, who are 2-8. They have the worst record in the league, but they have their point their point differential is minus 83. But it's a few bright spots on this team, and also they've had their women have also missed games a ton. Like they've only two of their players that played all 10 games. Rebecca Allen and Marina Mabry missed a game. Leah Edwards missed 2. Skylar Diggins Smith missed 3, and that was early on in the season. And so they started the season 0-3. Those first 3 games that Skylar Diggins was out. So since she's came back, they've been 2-5, which still isn't good, but she's helped them get a few wins. So considering that they started that slow with Skylar Diggins Smith missing those first 3 games, like even though they're 2-8, those 2 wins are solely because of Skylar Diggins Smith and what she's been able to do. Even though she's not the leading scorer, she's giving them 15 points, uh, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. You can tell she makes an impact on that team, and it's one of the best players on that team. Marina Mabry, she's been great this year, and then Aaliyah Edwards, she's been a double-double machine with 22 and 13. So I think it just comes down to this team just not being healthy, because I don't see them starting 0-3 and starting as bad as they did if Skylar Diggins Smith is playing, and obviously that plays a part of the team chemistry that they had to build throughout the season, and they're 2-8 at this point. So maybe post All Star break things can turn around a little bit. Might not be might not be super crazy, but maybe get a few more wins. At number 6, I had a win who are 4-7, and they just have a minus 6 point differential. But I thought about putting them over the Rolls, but the Rolls have the 2 head-to-head wins against them. They're 2-0, so I couldn't do that. So the win stay at 6. And all their women have been pretty healthy. Griner and Rivers, they only missed 1 game, so they'll pretty much had everybody missing a game. That's not something crazy. But Brittany Griner, I expected to be a bit, well, no, not, they just got Sanaa Rivers, so actually I take that back. Really only it's been Griner that's missed a game. So they had to make a move because their defense hasn't been good. They haven't been able to close out games. So they made the move to get Sanaya Rivers, which was a really good move. I had spoke on the trade on Tuesday, and like I said, she's averaging 9 points this season, averaging a steal per game, averaging a block per game. So getting her is a really great move with that. Because they only have a minus 6 point differential. They can definitely improve. They could now if it's any low seed team that can go on a run, it's them because of this move that they made. Erica Willard, she's been all right. 10 points, well, almost 11 points, while shooting 40% from 3 and 45% from the field. Then you got the Erica Hamby and Ryan Howard. They're doing their thing this season, even though Hamby is struggling from 3 with shooting 20% and shooting 59% from the free throw line. She's been impactful, especially rebounding wise and scoring. But the free throw percentage could definitely improve. She's only attempted 1.4 threes per game, so it's not. So she's just taking 1 3 and missing it essentially every game. Ryan Howard giving them 17 points, 37% from 3, 85% from the line. 3 assists, 1.4 steals. And so this team, it's a few bright spots, like I said, what Ron Howard's been able to do, uh, getting Sanaya Rivers, like I said. So if Sanaya Rivers can do what she, and then really everybody is good free throw shooters except for Hamby and Sanaya Rivers, which Sanaya Rivers, she isn't getting to the line a lot anyways. So I'm comfortable putting the Glen at 6, even though I do think they could surpass the Rose, who I do have at 5. I got the Rose at 5, who are 5-6 on the season, have a point differential of -42. But like I said, only put them ahead of the Lynn because they have they're 2-0 in a head-to-head matchups. But the Rose, they've also had some injuries, and and I'm pretty sure they are. Yeah, they've also had some injuries. Chelsea Gray and Shakira Austin played every game. Lacey Houle missed one. Sutton and Cooper or Copper, they both missed 3 games so far this season, but they've still been pretty good. Like Kalia Copper, Chelsea Gray, Shakira Austin, all averaging double-digit points, all doing their thing. So they've still been able to put together some wins, even though they haven't played much defense. They're 5-6 somehow, but they're also adding Angel Reese after the All Star break. And Angel Reese, he averaged a double double last season, was the DPOY. So this team is going to be really good uh, with the addition of Angel Reese. So she's definitely going to add to the defense of theirs, that's going to be much needed. So that's a really good pickup for the Rose. Then at number four, I had a Breeze, who are 5-5 on the season and currently sitting in the last playoff spot. And they just got Courtney Williams in a deal, which I'm still kind of surprised by because she asked to her depth, but I definitely wasn't expecting that. But getting Courtney Williams, that's a good move. Now she did just get skunked in the tournament, but Paige has been amazing. 25 points per game, 6 rebounds per game, 6.7 assists per game. Obviously, Rakia Jackson is I don't. Obviously, she has this legal situation she's going through with James Pierce with that whole thing. Hopefully, she's all right. Like I said, I made the video about that on Monday, so I don't know when she's playing again. But yes, so having Courtney Williams, especially if Rakia does have to miss some time, maybe some court dates and stuff like that that causes her to miss some time. But that's going to be a good addition to this team. But I don't see it changing much because getting Courtney Williams, it still comes at a loss of Rakia Jackson. Still, she could still possibly be out a few games. So hopefully it's not too long though. At number 3, I got the Mist, who are 7-4, very close to clinching a playoff spot. But this team, they've been they've been really good. Uh, Alicia Gray averaging 20, Brianna Stewart averaging 19 and 9, Rike averaging 14 points, uh, 3 rebounds, 2 assists. Really deep team. Then on the bench you got Veronica Burton, Elena Smith, Lay Jury. So this team is really deep. Like 1 through 6, this team is all talented, and they've had everybody for all 11 games. And so the best ability is availability, and they've been available. Then at number 2, I have the Laces, who have clinched the playoff spot. They This team is also really good. They've clinched the playoff spot already, and which is kind of surprising because I don't even think they're the deepest team. But they've had 2 of their bench players miss a few games. But Brittany Skite, she's leading this team, shooting 47% from the field, averaging 18 points, 42% from three, and also giving them 3.8 rebounds a game with 1.6 steals. And so this team has been very competitive. And like I said, they're currently the first seed. I put them at 2 in my standings because of the point differential, because they're a plus 60 point differential. By the team I have at number 2, the Phantom, who are 8-3. The only other team that clinch a playoff spot, they are a plus 68 point differential, and they're on a 4 game winning streak, opposed to the Laces, who are on a 2 game winning streak. So this Phantom club is really no stopping what they've been able to do. Uh, Kelsey Plum, Aaliyah Boston, Kiki Area Fan, Tiffany Hayes, and Tasha Cloud. Like that 1-2 punch of Aaliyah Boston and Kiki Area Fan, like them subbing in and out for each other, that's a pretty unstoppable duo. Well, not even duo, but because they both play center and unrivaled, so it's pretty much hard to stop both of them. And so if Aaliyah Boston goes out, then you got to worry about Kiki Area Fan. And then one of them is cold. It's like Kelsey Plum. She's shooting 37% from three. Natasha Tal, Natasha Cloud shooting 41% from three. So it's hard to stop this team. They're 8-3. They're the second seed right now, but they had the highest a point differential, and they could probably get the first seed if they continue their winning ways. They're currently on a 4-game winning streak at the moment. So those are my power rankings for Unrivaled at this point in the season. Now to move to Ice Cold. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Oh, that was weird. My computer just did something. All right, but to move to Ice Cold, the Grand Rapids Rise in the MLV, Major League Volleyball, they are currently 2-6 on the season, tied with the Columbus Fury for the worst record. But the Columbus Fury do have a tiebreaker, so and that's a positive. But this team sucks. And then we can go through each matchup and talk about how cold they've been and why they can't get their 2 wins. They won back-to-back games against. Actually, I don't know how the Fury had a tiebreaker. The standings in the MLV work very weird. I think it's who won the game more recently that gets the tiebreaker, because the Grand Rapids Rise did beat us, and we haven't played again since that. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's who wins more recently instead of actual head-to-head tiebreakers, which I find kind of stupid. But here's what it is. But this team, I just think this team is outmatched by a lot of other teams. Because even in the first game, they had 85 digs, which was the most they had in a single game, and they still lost it to Orlando. They had 59 kills in that game, which was their second most this season. Because it was the other time they had 59 kills, they ended up winning. Yeah, I think they're just clearly outmatched because some of these stats don't even look bad team wise. Like you get 85 kills in a game, it's not 85 kills, 85 digs, and still lose. It's like, what do you do about that? And that was against Orlando, who's the reigning champions from last year. The Atlanta Vibe, that was just a bad game. They wasn't able to do anything in that Vibe game. Couldn't do efficiency was somehow better, but by 3% than the previous game. They had 20 less kills. They had uh, 14 less assists in that game. Then they won back to back against the Fury and Mojo, who are both objectively bad teams. Now the Mojo are 3-2. I mean, not 3-2. Mojo are 3-6, and the Fury are 2-6. So that's and then the Rise they're 2-6. So that's just a battle of the three evils. So it's like them beating up on each other. It's like who cares? Those wins aren't really impressive. It's like yeah, you had your most kills in a game versus one of the other bad teams against a team that's third or worse in an 18 league. It's like yeah, so you can't discredit the wins. Like their efficiency went down in that in the Fury game. It was at 17%, but the Fury weren't good enough to capitalize off of that. So the win against the Mojo, they had their most kills and assists in that game all season. So that was just a really good win for them. So they just outmatched the Mojo that day and had a 27% efficiency, which was their second highest of the season. At 76 digs, second highest of the season. But they played their hearts out in the first 4 weeks they were 2-2, so it was looking up. So they were looking really solid. 2-2 in the first 2 weeks. They were showing some signs. And like I said, we obviously know what the Fury and Mojo look like now, but early in the season, it's hard to tell what these teams look like. And sometimes it still can be for some of these teams. But they were 2-2, and then they just lost four straight. Lost to Orlando again, lost to Omaha, lost to the Indy Ignite, and lost to Dallas. So they lost to all of them. I think that say one of these games they didn't have any service aces. That was against Orlando that second time. Orlando was rated at second. Even it's like they played their hearts out versus Orlando, but then at the same time they had 56 digs. They also had a 30% efficiency rating, and that was their highest of the season. They still lost. They also only had 5 blocks, which was one of their lowest. And it was their third lowest, I think. But yeah, these teams are just clearly outmatched the Grand Rapids Rise and what they're able to do, which is why they've lost 4 straight games. They can't win against anybody. Like they've won against the two other bad teams in the league, the two other teams that are bottom three at this point in the season. And then when you look at them, then when you look at their individual stats, it's like nobody really stands out for this team. It's like let me go to team stats because I want to see. They got 32. That's not. They got 400 total kills on the season, 75 blocks, 512 points. They're averaging 16 points per set. So that's the sets go to 25, and you're averaging 16 points per set. It's pretty much going to be impossible to win if you're doing that. They're getting 12 assists per set. It's so you're finishing, so you're losing these sets pretty easily too. I don't even know how many. They played 32 sets, but I feel like yeah, this Orlando. I mean, this Grand Rapids Rise team has been really bad. This is why they're part of the ice cold segment this week. It's, I want to see who. That's not what I was looking for. Snyder is leading them in points with 99. I'm gonna go pull up some notes because I can tell you the points. The points leader is not at 99 this season. Not even close to that. The points leader is somewhere in the hundreds. It's fed. And then if I go to the kills leaders, I can look at the stats right now. Um, what league leaders? This is what individual individual leader points. Total points. The Carly Snyder, she's leading the Grand Rapids Rise in points with just 99. Then they also got Paige Romay Briggs with 95. Those are their two leading points leaders. There's at least everybody in the top 10 in points has at least 100. And then Orlando has 2 players in here. Dallas has 2 players. The Indiana Knight have 2 players. It all have over 100 total points this season. That's how bad this Grand Rapids. Brooke Nunaville is leading the league in points with 182. She's also leading in kills with 168. Okay. And then if I go to the team stats, they're probably the lowest in these team stats. In points, Omaha is leading with 733. The Grand Rapids Rise have 512. Like I said, that's the lowest in the league compared to all the other teams. These teams have played more sets, but that's also because the Grand Rapids Rise are losing consistently, only putting up 16 points per set. So yes, they're gonna play less sets because they're losing in less sets. They're also the last in kill percentage at 34%, 34.0. The Columbus Fury are barely ahead of them by 0.2, at 34.2. With skill percentage, everybody is either 39 or below. So it's 3 teams that are at 34. The Mojo, the other team that I mentioned, who are just bad, they're at 34.6. So not terribly last. They're somehow fourth in assists with 300 and in the assists per set with 12.09%. So that's impressive. They're second worst in efficiency. They're not under 20%. The only team under 20% is the Columbus Fury, but they're right at 20.4. The Fury are at 18.7, which is opponent efficiency. They're also worse than opponent efficiency. Opponents have a 23% efficiency versus the Grand Rapids Rise. The service aces, they're dead last in service aces per set, aces and aces in general. So and then kills they average the 5th most kills per set. Okay. But yeah, this team is pretty. And then Diggs, they were. This is per set. I want to see total. So they're fifth worst in digs with 484. Everybody has over 400 digs, so at least they don't have under that. Yeah, the Grand Rapids Rise have been cold all season, and I don't see anything changing soon. This four-game losing streak, I could see it extending, but we'll see what happens. Um, all right, the prediction gauntlet. The TNA No Surrender is tomorrow, I think, which I might have to work, so I'm gonna have to see it after it goes off air. Which, if it comes on at 7, then I should be able to watch it at like midnight. So, TNA No Surrender. It's only been 4 matches announced. I don't know what other matches will be announced. So I'm gonna just go off of what I have here. We got the Righteous and the Hardy Boys taking on Order 4 for whatever stupid reason. Um, I really don't like this feud of the Hardys and the Righteous. It's really weird. It does nothing for me. Like, I'm seriously not interested in anything that is in this feud at all. Wasn't interested in the match. The promos have been really weird by the Righteous. The Hardys have had to carry this feud because it's really. I don't like to speak negative because I really try not to, but this feud just isn't it, in my opinion. If y'all like it, then good for y'all. But I'm sick of it because I don't know what purpose it's serving. Why? What's the point of the Righteous having a faction with the Hardy Boys? What? You know what? But the Righteous and the Hardy Boys have a match versus Order 4. It's like they saved them, so I guess they needed somebody to help them. But I say, I feel like Order 4 needs to win because the Hardys need some new competition for the tag titles. Like, if they win, where do they go from there? It's just so we beat Order 4, we move on. But you have, with Order 4, you got Agent Zero, Mustafa Ali, and you got the Great Hands. And it's like, obviously, Agent Zero, he just a bodyguard, but he occasionally wrestles. Ali, he going to want the singles gold. Had the Great Hands, he wanted the contenders. Obviously, they're not going to win it. They don't have to win it. But make them a contender. Have Jason Hodge pin Jeff Hardy. That's what I would go. That's what I would do because I think that's a smart way to build the tag division. So instantly, it's like, oh, if we want to establish that we're the best faction in TNA, I can go after if Ali, he can go after the world title. Agent Zero, he the bodyguard, but it's still he got the international title. He could go after Natasha Steele. She could either be the mouthpiece or she could go after the knockouts title if she wanted to, and just had an opportunity. Like if all of them can build enough momentum to get opportunities for titles, and only one out of that, and even if just one of them win, they don't even have to go 5 for 5 on winning. But if just Great Hands wins, that's like okay, even though Mustafa Ali, he's the mouthpiece, he's still coordinating all of this. Even though he's the best wrestler in the group, he's and the mouthpiece, he's coordinating all of this. And we didn't have him, we wouldn't be champions. So you could have a like if the Hardys reign does end, like who was gonna stop it? You got to build up these tag teams. So I say, now I do think the Righteous and the Hardys are gonna win, but I would personally let Order 4 win and have one of the tag guys, either Jason Hyde or John Dollar pin one of the Hardys. Maybe do a triple threat tag with the right. Then the Righteous take the pin again. That's how the Great Hands finally get their shot 2-on-2. So it's really stupid, but yeah, I feel yeah, I think the Righteous and Hardys are gonna win, but I do think Order 4 should get the win. Shannon Stacks Lorenzo defending the TNA International title versus Trey Miguel. And this one's kind of obvious for me. Honestly, Trey Miguel don't got a chance. He won the contract. Shout out to him. He not winning. I know they got the stuff with Ariana Grace and Stacks going on with her not wanting him to cheat. Trey Miguel not that talented for you to cheat. If Stacks sees this, Trey Miguel not that damn talented. You can get the win clean. But now, all jokes aside, it's funny how Trey Miguel he left. He wanted to leave, and then Warner Bros. Discovered some tweet about him being quote unquote homophobic, which I seen the tweet. It was pretty hilarious. But then he comes back, and um, they decide Carlos Silva, whoever, they was like, you know what? Look, give him a title shot just because. I'm like, that's kind of It's definitely favoritism because he did just left the company, then he came back and automatically gets a title shot. Oh yeah, Stacks, he got to win that match. Like I don't see a world where Stacks doesn't win. I would be very surprised if Stacks lost. Like I don't think Ariana Grace needs to get involved. Well, she's not gonna get involved, but I don't think Stacks needs to cheat. I don't think the NXT outsiders need to do anything. Let Stacks just get a clean win. Like obviously he a heel, so him winning in cheap ways most of the time makes sense. But for just this moment, just this day, just this Friday, tomorrow, let him win clean. Let that be his Valentine's Day present to Ariana Grace. A clean win. That's all he need to do. And speaking, oh yeah, Shax has to win because Ariana Grace has a match too, and she's not winning. And she got a match against Lei Ching Lee for the TNA Knockouts Championship. She, oh, this is so funny because she begged her dad for a shot. This is definitely nepotism, but it's hella funny because I said they should have just played it to a nepotism gimmick with her anyways. I feel like that would have worked out better. Like I'm not really bought into the heel thing. Like I feel like you would have been better off playing into a nepotism gimmick and making him a favor, making Santino a favor Stacks. I feel like that would have been way more interesting and way cooler to see, but I guess not. But yeah, Ariana Grace, Lei Ching Lee not losing to Ariana Grace. It's not happening. She already got the shot based off of nepotism. You think they're gonna let her win it too? If they would have started playing to the nepotism thing earlier, I could have saw it, but feel like you can't just randomly play into it and she got shot 2 weeks or 2 weeks notice. And Daria Ray, she was pretty upset about that. So she might even cost her. Funny enough, if they wanted to turn Stacks into a face, they could have Daria Ray cost. Actually, nah, Stacks don't need to be a face. That nigga was dry as hell as a face. But that's a pretty end. It's gonna be a good match. I'm excited for it, but Lei Ching Lee gonna win. Then Mike Santana and the return of Leon Slater take on Eddie Edwards and Nick Nemeth. Leon Slater, Leon Slater better be on the show tonight. He still hasn't appeared on TNA since the AMC premiere, which, to be fair, he did have visa issues. People when SmackDown was when he accepted the open challenge, SmackDown was in London, so he was able to go to there. It wasn't just they didn't just pull him. WWE didn't pull him from TNA's AMC premiere. He seriously had visa issues. Danny Luna is still dealing with visa issues as well. So that's why they had to change the trajectory for the match for the storylines of Lei Ching Lee and 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 the X Division title scene. So, but I'm also kind of glad because that allowed what's his name to turn heel. Cedric Alexander. Him turning heel worked out because he wasn't going to have a triple threat with three baby faces who are all black men. Somebody had to be a bad guy there. So Moose still remains face. Cedric turns heel. Once Leon comes back, the triple threat still gonna happen. Obviously, Danny Luna still guaranteed her shot when she gets back. So I'm expecting Danny Luna and Danny Luna could return at the pay per view after the match, letting Lei Ching Lee know I'm back and I want that shot. And then Leon Slater, like I said, he didn't. And then he didn't have some segments too, like he did like some video call type of things. But Mike Santana obviously taking on the two guys who both have guaranteed world title shots at the time of their choosing, and Eddie Edwards and Nick Nemeth, and then Leon Slater teaming up with him. Kind of don't know why Leon Slater is in this match, but it is what it is. But Mike Santana and Leon gonna get the win as the world. Mike as the world champ, Leon as the X Division champ. I don't see them losing this match. Like yes, Eddie and Nick are both contenders for the world championship and be getting shots soon, but I don't see them winning that match. And if they do win, that's gonna be because of some interference or something like that. But Mike Santana, Leon, it definitely makes the most sense for them to win that match. As two champions, and Leon Slater is gonna be returning, so I don't see him losing his return match, especially in a tag match. That just wouldn't make sense. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, can't confirm if any other. Those are only matches I can confirm that are confirmed for TNA No Surrender. So those are the matches I know of. Those are my predictions for that. All right, now let's move on to Impact stat of the week. Well, really of a specific game, but Jose Alvarado he's had 7 steals in 3 games. In one of those games, he had 5 steals, and those versus Sixers. I know they were missing people. At the end of the day, these are still professionals. So I'm not going to discredit somebody because certain. He had 5 steals off the bench in 19 minutes. He also had 26 points and hit 8 threes. Last night was Sam Merrill had like the most efficient 30-piece ever. Um, Jokic had another triple double, so I guess that's normal. Jose Alvarado had 5 steals and 8 threes off the bench. Jose Alvarado isn't even a. What does he shoot from three? He shoots just 37% from three this season, but you don't look at Jose Alvarado as he's taking 4.9 threes a game this year. Okay, you still don't look at Jose as a 3-point shooter though. I didn't even know he was taking that many threes, but he had 5 steals off the bench. Like obviously, he's not gonna consistently hit 8 threes and get 5 steals off the bench. He's gonna get a few steals, of course, not 5. He's averaging one. What's he averaging? 1 steal per game this season. Which he's averaging 2.3 with the Knicks in the 3 games he's played. But he's averaging 1 steal per game this season. And he's gonna come off the bench and give you solid production. He's giving you 8, 2, and 3. Really 8, 3, and 3 to round up on 42, 37, 80 splits. And so the Knicks, it's going to be very valuable in the playoffs. Now, the Knicks still lost to the Pacers, who are the worst team in the league, at least worse than the East. But they lost to the Pacers. But 5 steals off the bench, very impressive. Yeah. Yeah, 26 points, 5 steals, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 8 of 13 from the field, and 8 of 13 from three. So he only shot threes that game. And then he went 2 or 3 from the free throw line. He rarely got fouled on the three. Man, that's a really good game. But those 5 steals off the bench, that's going to be valuable for the Knicks in the playoffs. Like I said, obviously we know he's not going to average 5 steals per game, but that intensity that he gives, really any team he's been on, because he's only been on the Pelicans his 5 years in the league, was this still his 5th year. Man, Jose Alvarado he's still young, but obviously he's been giving that effort with the Pelicans, who haven't done nothing. But now him giving that effort on the Knicks, who could contend for a championship, like you got to consider the Knicks in that championship contention, because obviously you got the Pistons, you got the Celtics, and then it's after that who comes next? Is it the Knicks? Is it the Raptors? Maybe one of those teams can beat this. The Knicks could probably beat the Celtics again, like they did last year, because they don't have Tatum. So Vucevic, okay, Vucevic hasn't looked good, but it is what it is. I mean, the Celtics, I don't know why you would trade Anthony Simons, who was having a 6 man of the year type of season. So he was their best player off the bench this year. I wouldn't have traded him for Vooch. I don't think that was a smart idea. If the Bulls, it's like you had to get off of Vooch to finally end that era of Levine and DeMar. So that was a good move for them, even though it was another guard, which I made a stupid move. But the Celtics, I wouldn't have traded Simons like what Quaid has been doing for the Celtics. So like you're not winning a championship this year with no Tatum. It's not happening. So like if the Knicks and Celtics match up in the playoffs again, I'm taking the Knicks because the Celtics haven't shown me that they can beat the Knicks in a playoff series. They just proved that they couldn't with Tatum out. If Tatum doesn't get injured, maybe they can come back toward down 3-1. Maybe if Tatum doesn't get injured, they can come back. But this team, even this year, I'm not sold on the Celtics making a deep run with like the Celtics and the Raptors played. Maybe the Celtics win, but that'd be a close series. It wouldn't be a cakewalk for the Celtics. Any series the Celtics go into is going to be tough unless they play Philly. I think they can handle Philly. I'm not I'm not trusting the 76ers in any playoff circumstances because you can say fully healthy. They haven't been fully healthy. So, but Jose Alvarado has been solid for the Knicks. Obviously, last night inflated his stats a lot, but overall he's been pretty solid. The Pacers game, He had 4 points in the Pacers game, 5 assists. So he was able to play make a little bit while struggling from the field shooting. Then in the game versus Celtics, he looked already had 12 points, had a block, 2 steals, 2 assists, 2 rebounds, kind of just doing it all. Was doing that in 25 minutes off the bench. It's like you would take that 5 of 12 from the field, 2 of 6 from the 3 point line. So Jose Alvarado, what is he averaging after that game last night? So after that game last night, it's still not crazy. He's averaging 14 points, 3.7 assists, 2.3 steals, 2 rebounds a game, while shooting 46% from the field, 45% from three, and 66% from the free throw line. So pretty solid stats for Jose Alvarado in his time with the Knicks so far in 3 games. And they went 2-1, beating 2 playoff teams. And these are all Eastern Conference matchups. They beat the Celtics. They blew out the Celtics and the 76ers. They lost to the Pacers in overtime. But I guess when a certain team has your number, no matter how bad they are, they're just going to win those games. That's just the reality of the situation. If a certain team got your numbers, like those games will come. It's either going to be hella tough to win those games, but they're just going to keep winning. So the Pacers lost. It's not lost in overtime. Siakam had 30. He heard all the talk about why he shouldn't be an all-star. Then he had a 30-point game against the team that the Pacers eliminated back-to-back years in the playoffs. So he was definitely more deserving of being an all-star than Karl Anthony Towns. But hey, it is what it is. Because I don't know why Cat is in the all-star game. That's Brunson, I understand. Cat, I don't know why you're there. Like, I seriously don't know why. But at least Ingram and Sengun made it. I'm glad that they made it. Injury replacement or not, that's not going to show up on the accolades. It's just going to say all-star. So they can be happy about that. And then to end it with athletes of the week, so I can drop these other shorts that I planned on that I was supposed to drop earlier, but like I said, I took a nap, so here's what it is. But athletes of the week for this week from February 5th to February 11th. For WWE, I went with Tiffany Stratton. She won Elimination Chamber qualifying triple threat match versus Lash Legend and Chelsea Green. A lot of people had a problem with this decision. Like I said in my short, she just came back from injury. Her last feud was for the World Championship, so her being still in the title picture makes sense. WWE books and patterns. When people lose their championships, either they go off to Hollywood like Roman Reigns, or they stay at the top of that card and slowly start to fall. Jey Uso was still in the main event for a few months before he fell back down to the tag division. Like it took a bill for him to go back down the card. A Priest, once he lost his World Heavyweight Championship, after that match, he didn't lose for the next 4 months. So Rhea, when she lost it, she was still feuding with Io and Bianca for the title. So these wrestlers, they just don't go down the card as soon as they lose their championships. So even Dominic, when he lost the IC title, he was still going after that. So Tiffany, she can come back injury and still go after it. I don't want her to win the Elimination Chamber, but her winning the qualifying match, and it was a really great match. And then she also had the factors that didn't affect her in any way, really. So Tiffany Stratton winning, I thought that was the right choice. And I thought it was a really good match. And Chelsea Green ended up getting injured. Obviously, you can't predict that, but she has a broken ankle, and that would have prevented her from competing to begin with. So, because Elimination Chamber is in 16 days at this point. So obviously, hindsight is 2020. You never know what's going to happen. The same can be said for Bianca losing at WrestleMania. It's a good thing once these reports come out that the injury did happen, because it's like, okay, now you didn't risk having a 3-4 day title reign just for it to be relinquished. You got somebody that's still active. So Chelsea would have had to be replaced anyways, unfortunately. Injury suck, but it happens. But for AEW, I went with Tekla. She won the scrap match versus Chris Statlander for the AEW Women's World Championship. Now AEW Women's World Champion. I told people it was going to happen. I said it last year. I got pushback. They told me Tekla should be a mid-card champion. I said she should be a world champion. I got pushback on it. But guess what happened? The toxic era has begun and she's a world champion now. So guess who was right? For TNA, I went with Zara Brookside. She won a six-woman tag team match featuring Wei Ching Lee and Indy Hartwell as they defeated the Elegance brand and Ash's return to the ring. So Ash didn't take the pin, but that was her return match. So it was pretty cool that yeah, she can return, look good in the match, but her team still gonna lose. Then Zara Brookside, she stood out and she ended up pinning Heather by Elegance. And so Zaya Lee and Zara Brookside and Wei Ching Lee will probably get a tag title shot soon. Probably lose it, but it'll be an entertaining match. For the NBA, I went with Cam Thomas. Despite him struggling in his debut, which was limited minutes, in his second game with the Bucks, he exploded in 25 minutes, dropping 34 points, 2 assists, and 4 rebounds on 12 of 20 from the field, 4 of 6 from three, 6 of 6 from. My connection just went out for some. Okay, connection is back. That was weird. Cam Thomas does. I'm gonna just start over. Cam Thomas in 2 games with the Bucks, both against the Magic for whatever reason. The Bucks won. They lost the first one, won the second one. Cam he struggled in his debut, like I said, on limited minutes. But the second game he had 25 points. No, he had 25 minutes. And he dropped 34 points, 2 assists, 4 rebounds on 12 of 20 from the field, 4 of 6 from three, and 6 of 6 from the free throw line. And he had Giannis licking his lips. I've never seen Giannis do that. And I didn't see him do that when they won a championship. So maybe Cam Thomas gonna be the reason that Giannis stays. We'll see. But he went crazy last night. For men's college basketball, I went with AJ DeBanstra. BYU went 1-1 this week, losing a very close game to Houston by like 1 point, I think. Then beating Baylor by just a few points. In the Houston game, he had 24 points, had 28 points, 4 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1 block on 9 of 14 from the field, 3 of 4 from three, and 7 of 12 from the line. I will say if he makes 2 of those free throws, 2 more, and he goes 9 of 12, they win that game. You cannot miss 5 free throws in a game. Obviously, it's still young, it's freshman year, but late in March Madness, which is coming up next month. We're in February now. You can't have it in the tournament. But then in the game versus Baylor that they won was another close game. Had 36 points, 7 assists, 5 rebounds, and 1 steal on 14 to 20 from the field, 1 of 4 from three, and 7 of 8 from the free throw line. So he did shoot much better from the line in this game. For women's college basketball, I went with Michaela Blake's. Vanderbilt went 2-0 this week, with both of those wins being against ranked teams. She had 37 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists, and 4 steals on 13 to 25 from the field, 6 of 9 from three, and 5 of 6 from the line versus Kentucky. And then the other game they played versus Oklahoma, she had 34 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, and 1 block, while she was 13 of 23 from the field, just 3 of 10 from three, but she also went 5 of 5 from the free throw line. For Unrivaled, even though there was a few games played this week, I had to do a special mention for Veronica Burton in the one-on-one tournament that's currently going on in Unrivaled. She beat Courtney Williams 11-0. That was the only skunk out of 1v1 tournament so far. It's going to be continuing today, tomorrow, and it's going to be continuing until Saturday for the winner be crowned. But she's the only person that skunked somebody so far. So Veronica Burton said she did her thing. That was definitely surprising. Didn't expect that. And then I thought Courtney Williams would have won, but even her losing, I didn't expect her to lose like that. And then for the MLV, went with Marley Monserrat for the San Diego Mojo, who went 2-0 this week with wins over the Columbus Fury and Indy Ignite. She had totals of 7 points in the 2 games. She had totals of 7 points, 6 kills, 14 total attacks, 29 DX, and 76 assists. Had a great week and really made a huge impact on that team and their success for this week to improve to 3-6 after starting the season so slow at being 1-6. So they were in danger of being on the ice cold segment, but luckily they got 2 wins. They got back-to-back wins, and they're done and have overcame that slow start. For men's hockey, one with Ray Slavoski, who had 2 goals, 1 assist, and a +2 yesterday to lead Slovakia to a win over Finland. For the men's Olympic hockey tournament, they started this Olympics 1-0. So, oh, What's good, Kels? I'm almost finished now, but I just saw your comment. And then, what the hell? Oh, and then for women's hockey, went with Ariane Frankel, the Team USA for the women. They went 4-0 this week, but she was in 3 of their games, and she had 45 save attempts, 44 saves, only gave up 1 goal, had a 97.7 save percentage. Like, the only game she didn't play was a game versus Switzerland, which Team USA also won that game. So, with that being said, that's going to wrap up this podcast episode. Once again, shout out to Tekla, new AEW Women's World Champion. Happy to see that. But yeah, leave a like,